Welcome to week 2 of the training series. This is Deepak Patel and I'm extremely excited to talk about week 2. Now, before we begin week 2, I just want to make sure that you completed week 1, went through all the videos and did all the exercise again. Remember that your ability to get results through the program is going to be based on you following the video step by step and follow and do all the exercise and activities. So week 1 was foundation and I hope you had a chance to complete that. Now what we are going to discuss in week 2 is going to be extremely important. So it's an extension to the foundation before we go into week 3, where we are going to go and start outreaching the market, start to get some meetings and hopefully get some client. That will happen in week 3. But week 2 is still very, very powerful. And what I'm going to cover in week 2 are two most important things. We are going to talk about marketing and we are also going to talk about sales. Now in this video and in this particular module, what I want to cover is the new age advisor marketing formula. Now, this is all the marketing that you need to know in order for you to get clients and grow your practice. Now, as I had mentioned to you before, this is a transformation program, a lot more than marketing. In this video and in this module, I'm going to specifically talk about the marketing, and you are going to learn extremely important and advanced level marketing in this particular video. And this is something that has taken me 10 years to learn, and I've spent a lot of time, money, studying from different people, different sources, trying different things out. And what I have done is try to package everything into this training video in as simple form as possible so that you don't have to waste all the time and you can get going on only the things that matter. Now, the other important part that you need to understand is that just having marketing doesn't really help you as much, but you need to be able to take the marketing approach and tie it up with your sales approach and your practice, the foundations and everything. And that's the core part. What I have done is I've created the marketing formula for advisors that goes in line with the realities of their practice, the situations, the compliance issues, the kind of people the advisor work with, and all of that. So it is marketing that is completely aligned with your entire practice. And that's what makes this program very, very important and unique. So here's what I'm going to cover in this particular training video. We'll start by talking about the marketing that you need to avoid. We'll then talk about our client acquisition framework. We'll then talk about direct response marketing, which is the only form of marketing that we do and we want to do. We then talk about funnels, because I know there's a lot of questions that you might have. You might have heard of all the marketing and sales funnels. I'm going to uncover everything that you need to know about funnels in this particular topic. We then talk about the power of response that we need from our marketplace. And then I'm going to give you the advisor marketing blueprint, which is going to be the only marketing, as I mentioned, that you need to focus and execute every single day. So let's get started by talking about the marketing that we need to avoid. Now, in life and in business, it is more important to know what not to do than what to do. And this is like a bit of a hack that most people don't realize. We spend all our time trying to learn more and more and more, and we don't focus our time on knowing what not to learn. Because if you only knew what not to learn, then you'll go ahead and be very successful. So for example, if somebody just told me what not to do to have an established business, I would be further ahead than I am today. Because in the absence of knowing what not to do, you end up doing that, which costs you a lot more time to get back on track, right? So the reason I wanted to start with the marketing that you should avoid, so that you can instantly get rid of things and can make quantum leaps in terms of making progress. And this is a hack you can use in anything in life. In addition to, we talked about in the niche section that most advisors sell, everything to everyone, but they make it worse by, adding the same type of thing to their marketing. So now you have a worse situation for advisors where they're selling everything to everyone and they're marketing in all different way. And this form of marketing is what I refer to as the buffet marketing model. And this is kind of what most advisors do. They like to do a little bit of everything, which is where they become a jack of all trades and master of none, right? So just the way when you go to buffet, if you happen to go to buffet, then you're trying all kind of things, right? Let me take this, let me try this. Oh, this looks interesting. That's really what is happening. And again, buffets are unhealthy for you, so you should try to avoid going to buffet, if you can, because again, it has the same problem. Your mind is confused. You are, eating more than you should, and you're really not eating to what you should be eating, right? And you're not respecting your body's, appetite, health, and all that. It's an extremely bad place to go if you're going for, any health kind of stuff. Now, let's talk about marketing. What most people do is they get into all the social media world and they start trying all those things. Now, for advisors, as we talked about in the foundation module, there are two different things, right? So the traditional methods, which is cold calling, door knocking, referrals, center of influence, networking events, chamber of commerce, buying leads, etc. These are all form of marketing. An advisor have to make a decision to invest money and time into all of this, because imagine if you want to get 2 center of influences established, how many meetings do you need to have with those accountants or lawyers? How many times you have to go to their offices? That's all time and money. You may have to take them out for lunch, dinners. They might ask you to do some kind of marketing, sponsorship and stuff like that, right? So a lot of time and money goes into those activities. I know advisors that would go and spend time going events after events after events. And now they're getting ready to go to events. They're buying new suits to go to events. They're driving there. There's a lot of time and energy that goes into any of those activities, right? So if you're doing that, which is traditional methods, and then on top of that, you get into the social media world, which is equally or more, they provide more options. So advisors have options to do LinkedIn. They have options to do Facebook. A lot of them have Twitter. Some advisors go into YouTube. They start doing Google SEO. They get into all the website stuff. Then they start getting into God knows so many other things like Instagram and all that. And these new channels are going to constantly keep coming, right? A lot of new channels like Snapchat, they'll come and go, podcasting, videos, all those mediums are not going to change, right? Like they will continue to evolve. And I've been a victim, and I'll talk about my personal journey through this particular issue, because I have done buffet marketing myself, and I've been through this before. And I know a lot of advisors, when I speak with them, have the same problem. So they are trying to do a little bit of everything. And when you do that, that doesn't work. So the question you might have is, well, why this doesn't work? Like, what's wrong with the model? We have more opportunity now to outreach and go to people and find our clients. So why are you telling us not to use all the channels? Because an argument can be made that Instagram have, certain type of, people on it that you might want to target. So why would we not do that? So it's a good question, and we need to make sure that we are extremely clear in understanding the reasons why we don't want to go down the path. So here's are some reasons why you want to avoid this form of marketing. Number one, each of this channel have very different context and you need to understand this. Context means, how the platform works, who it works for, the type of content, the engagement, and etc. So for example, if you go into Twitter works very differently than a LinkedIn post. You almost have to create a different type of post on Twitter because it has the character restrictions, and you can probably do different type of image. You may not be able to do videos, versus on Instagram you can do small videos, you can do videos on Facebook. So again, these mediums all have different experience level, and the platform owner decides what you can post, what you can't. And there are a lot of rules around each of these platforms. And that's what it means by context. And also these platforms are trying to entice the end user to use it in a different way. And that's why you see that there are more younger people on Instagram than you would find on LinkedIn, for example. And all this becomes incredibly complex psychologically when it comes to marketing and understanding all the ins and outs. Even I don't spend time learning. In my business and practice, my focus is just to do LinkedIn and Facebook, which is essentially what I also teach, advisors. Because yes, the argument can be made that we can get clients through any mediums, and that is true. However, when you try to do that, you are not going to be able to go deep, because it's not about the breadth of things. It's really about the depth. And that's the secret, right? To have a great marketing, you need to be able to really go deep and have multiple follow-ups with your prospects, and as opposed to stay on surface. But most people make mistake by using all the channel. Now they don't have any time left in the day to go deep. By the time they're done posting or checking all the mediums, the day runs out, right? And they don't have time. And you don't get clients like that. The client acquisition is extremely deep process. It's a deeper level engagement and follow-ups that you need to have with your prospect to have them be interested and in meeting with you. So in the absence of your ability to go deep, you are not going to get clients. It's plain and simple. So context is extremely important. There's a lot of complexity each platform have. The way technically it works, how you install the apps, how they send notifications, how do you post. There's a lot of stuff. And also, there's a lot of distraction in the channel. Because imagine if you had like a Twitter account, LinkedIn account, Facebook account, and Instagram account. Okay, let's say you only had 4. There are probably like 10 more. But let's say if you only had 4, and probably you do have 4 today. Imagine how many times now you have to go on your phone to check those messages throughout the day. And these social medias are more addictive than drugs. And they are more distractive. So you need to be very careful. And if you have all the channel open, then your brain is going to tell you that, hey, I'm doing this for business, so it's okay. But the reality is it's still distraction. So you want to stay out of it because also of the distractions and complexity. Disconnected to sale. Now, when you do a lot of these different form of like buffet broad marketing, then your marketing is not going to be tied to sales. And what I mean by that is, and I'll talk about that more, but how you sell is via meeting, right? And a lot of times these posts are not driving meetings, and they're not tied. The more you go into all those broad mediums, because you start getting into what those mediums want you to do, it takes you further away from what you need to do in your practice. Like what you need to do in your practice is meet people, like have meetings with the right people, right? If you could only do that without using social media, you should, but you can't. You should. You have to use them to some degree, and I'm going to show that to you in this training program on how to do that. But also, we need to find the shortest path and the most efficient path to do that. The other big problem these mediums have, or this form of marketing, is they have feel good and instant gratification, which means a lot of time people are on Instagram, on LinkedIn or Facebook. They're trying to post to kind of look good, right? And this is something we all have as an innate desire, right? We all, secretly desire to be superstars. And these mediums kind of allows you to flirt with that thought process where you are posting a photo and then you almost are intimidated to go and check how many likes you got and what people are saying about that and so on and so forth, right? Like imagine what happens when you post a photo on Facebook or any other platform on your birthday or any personal occasion. You are going to go and check multiple times a day. And I have the same problem. Now I'm trying to deliberately stay out of a lot of these things myself, and it's been a process, but I do know that it is not good for you, right? So you want to keep yourself as away as possible. And the instant gratification is a very, very bad business skill, right? That you're indirectly building, because getting clients, growing your practice, it's not easy. It takes time to do that. If you get into this instant gratification habit where you expect to do something now and within a minute you want to get the response, then you're not going to be successful in your practice, because your practice, unfortunately, is not going to be built like that. You're not going to get $1 million client instantly. You're not going to get to 10, 20, and $100 million asset or $200 million asset portfolio instantly, right? You have to work at it day after day, weeks after weeks, months after months, years after year. That's the real life. But these mediums kind of psychologically shows you to get instant gratification. So very, very bad for you. Now, again, as I said, the biggest problem with this is they don't generate meetings, right? These form of marketing will not get you meeting. And it's not just about the advisor, but the prospect. People who are on this, they're also so distracted, right? That they may look at your post and like it, but nobody is going to go down and look at what else you do and provide and book a meetings with you. So it's a place where people are hanging out, networking and all that, but you may not be able to get focused, meetings going through it. And if you're getting a little confused about all of this, don't worry. Like as I go through more specific strategies, you will understand how we are going to be able to drive clients through these new mediums. So absolutely, that's a focus of the program. But what I'm trying to tell you in this particular topic is doing everything in all medium is a mistake. So you want to avoid it and you want to stop doing that if you are doing it today. So how do we pick and choose which channel to focus? And that's a good question, because we recognize that doing all is bad. We also recognize that we have to use some to get clients, right? So how do you go about choosing? Well, in order for us to choose the right medium, let's look into our client acquisition framework. Like let's go back and take a look at the fundamentals of our client acquisition framework that we talked about. Now you might recall this from week 1, and here is again a quick summary of our algorithm to convert a stranger to a client, right? Now in order for us to convert somebody, we must be able to take that person from this escape situation, which is their current situation, and we have to take them to the desired situation, which is where they want to arrive, right? So we want to always keep that in mind. And this is going to become extremely important as we get into marketing and then sales. And the algorithm really is, we asking if they have the pain point, we offer them value, and then we are making an offer to meet, right? And we covered this in previous week module. So that is the foundation of our algorithm. And this is the client acquisition model that we talked about. We're connecting with ideal people. we offer value, and then we offer meeting. And some people will meet with us so that we can take them through the sales process. And the one who don't, we keep educating them and then keep asking for meeting, right? This is the simple client acquisition framework. And I believe I also gave you a pinup. So you must have this hanging in your office right now as you're taking this particular module. And if not, pause this video and do that. So if this is the core of how we get client, then how does it help us make a decision? Now to do that, let's take a look at the roles marketing and sales plays in the client acquisition process. Because oftentimes advisors have really a disconnected process when it comes to marketing and sales. And we want to make sure that they are connected. Now, before I share that, I just want to quickly share with you, my learnings of what I'm sharing with you today and also in the training program when it comes to marketing and sales. Now, here's my journey. So I started with corporate and I spent many years in corporate, about 17, 18 years, and many years in sales, almost 7 to 8 years. And I sold over $150 million to large companies. Now, this was my early education and introduction to sales. So the selling methods that we used in big companies at that point, and it still is the case today, is in-person meetings. So we would meet our clients in person, and these were large clients. We were selling millions of dollars in complex products and solutions. So we would always meet them in person. At times we'll have phone meetings, but you never closed a deal without meeting a client multiple times, and not one but several clients. I would fly every week. So I live in Toronto. I would fly every week to Calgary, Vancouver, where my clients used to be, and I would go and spend a week there with them and come back on Friday. So that was my schedule for years when I did this. And that's how you sell traditionally. Then me and my wife also started a home staging business where we took that business from $0, no experience and nothing, to about $400,000 per year in revenue in about 4 years. And here we did deals from like $100 consultation to about $5,000, projects where we would stage homes for people when they were selling. And the sales model that I used, and this business was started by me and my wife. I was the front salesperson in the beginning, and then she became the one because I was able to train and coach her. But I was very engaged in the entire business sales marketing. And the sales model we used there was cold calling, door knocking. We had networking, and then we were doing some marketing, buffet style marketing. But mainly we are doing a lot of Facebook posts on our fan page and so on and so forth. And that was working for us. Even though we didn't have the measured marketing that I'm going to teach you now, because I learned that later in my life, we didn't implement it in that business. But that business was built on a foundation of cold calling, door knocking, which is kind of how advisors' businesses have been started. So that was my staging business. Then we have an apartment rental portfolio, and that's a business we still operate today. And in that business, if I take the part of that business that is close to sales and marketing, renting units is what the part of renting unit is similar to marketing and sales. And I've probably rented over 50 units. And the average value of the unit is about $850 per unit, which means we rent it for about $500,000 annual rent value, right? If you do the math. And the marketing that we used here was like, free ads, post, and the sales methods that we used was calling, text, a lot of text and emails, and a lot of follow-ups. Now, the interesting thing is the skills, and this is something I've learned, and it's been a reflection. The process to sell, whether you're selling, large clients, or you're selling, mid-sized deal, or you're selling something small, is quite similar. And also the way you have to deal with people is quite similar. Like almost in every sales situations, and I'm going to discuss more of this in the sales module coming up in the next video. But I've learned how to persuade people on texting, messaging, emails, and all that. And all that really came through all these different experiences I had. And then I had a project I tried for multifamily coaching. And this was a similar course like this one that you are in right now that I've created. And the goal was to sell that and bring more members in. But in that particular case, I went with marketing only approach, which was like, we had Facebook ads to complex, funnel, a lot of videos, podcast. I even wrote a book on this topic, which is a good book, by the way. And but it didn't work. I didn't get enough members, and I didn't really get traction. Spent a lot of time on this project, about 6 months. And because we just did marketing and no sales part, it didn't work. And then my core funnels business, which is the business we operate today, the 1.0 is what I call it, where we didn't really have a niche. We went with, what we do, which was marketing and sales funnel, but we didn't pick a group. And we also want very marketing heavy, which means we started running Facebook ad, LinkedIn ads, videos, posts, podcast. I wrote a book again on sales and marketing. Didn't work because it was very heavy on marketing. And in core funnels 2, which is where I sit right now, I believe we have found the right balance of client acquisition, which is the right balance between sales and marketing. So if you see from my experience here, the staging business was started on fundamentals of sales, and it was a successful business. And later, when I got enticed with marketing, when I saw the potential of online marketing, funnels, and all that, I didn't forget sales, but I thought I can make my way to success by good marketing. And that was not true. I learned that, after trying many things and after spending a lot of time not getting client. And when we understood that and we made some changes, is when I selected the advisor niche. And the marketing strategy right now is LinkedIn only, but we are going into Facebook starting very soon. And the sales is very important. We have strategy session, and this is how you got into working with me and in the program. And that's my primary sales process, to get prospects into strategy session. And as a result, we got 20 plus client in just about 3-month period and growing. And we didn't get this many clients even in the last year plus. And I got that in 3 months plus. And now we are getting even more. So what I learned through this process was the perfect balance between marketing and sales. And that's what I'm giving to the advisor. And these are the exact same method that I've tried with my existing clients. And it has worked for them, where they have been able to get prospects and clients. So what I did and learned after making all the mistakes and everything that you see right now is 10 years of my life in doing all kinds of different projects and businesses. And most of them have been successful, some have not, but there's been a lot of learning. And now I'm very positive that I have a good level of understanding of the balance between marketing and selling, which is what I'm going to teach you in this training program. So now let's talk about what is the perfect marketing and selling model for an advisor. So what is the role of marketing and sales when it comes to advisor getting clients? So again, if you want to convert a stranger to a client, we need to do 3 things. Okay, we have to pre-frame, we have to indoctrinate, and then we have to convert. And let me explain what I mean by each of this. So pre-framing is a very powerful thing. So it really means that when you are going to the stranger or people that don't know you, pre-frame is a process where they begin to know who you are, what you do, what you offer, and how can you help them. Because for a possibility of a business together, this is important. If your prospects cannot tell anything about this, like of you, then they are not going to be ever becoming a client. So pre-frame is a process in marketing where we are not selling them anything yet. And this is very, very important. People completely misunderstand marketing and selling, where they think, well, it's all about sales right away. But there are steps, and I'll talk more about that in the sales training, which is extremely powerful. But pre-framing is a process that is designed to just inform the prospect about what you do and how you can help them. Indoctrination is a process which is more based on follow-ups, if you will, but it's continued education and top-of-mind awareness, and also causing and inflicting some pain point. Because when you get to know somebody or somebody get to know you, let's say we are talking about retirement planning prospect, okay? Which means the prospect is now connected with you on LinkedIn, and they know that you help people with retirement planning, and they may be in your niche. And so they have now the level of knowledge, which means we have done the pre-frame correctly. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do pre-frame, like step by step, click by click. Indoctrination would be where you are communicating with them, you're posting something on retirement planning, and then you're also inflicting some pain. You're telling something like, do this so that you don't run out of money. Or, most people delay the retirement by 10 years. Or most people are not able to retire till the age of 65 or 70 or 75 or, things like that. So this is inflicting pain. And that's the process of indoctrination. And it's very important to do that if you want to have a sale, right? And if you wonder in past, if you look at your past deal, and if you look at all the deals that you lost, chances are you went straight to the conversion, which is the last step, without doing enough indoctrination. A lot of objection handling happens at this stage as well. And, strategically and carefully doing pre-frame indoctrination increases your chances of closure and conversion. So let's talk about the last one, which is convert. And conversion for an advisor starts with the meeting, right? And the entire purpose of this training program is to get you more meetings. And that's what conversion is about. We have to make an offer for meeting and then move them to the sales process. So in our client acquisition, architecture, these are the three things that we must do to convert a stranger to a client. Now, the pre-frame and indoctrination are best done through marketing. And we want to have our marketing do those two things. So remember, we are trying to figure out of all the social media out there, which one we should pick, right? And we took a step back to see what is our client acquisition framework looking like so that we can pick intelligently what makes sense, right? And what I'm showing you now is psychologically and process-wise what you must do to take a stranger to a client. You have to pre-frame, we have to indoctrinate, and then we have to convert. Marketing is better suited to do pre-frame and indoctrination. Imagine when you're making cold call. What is happening in cold call is you're trying to pre-frame on the phone, right? You tell them what you do and all that. There's almost no indoctrination happening on cold call. You're trying to pre-frame and then you're going to convert. And that's why cold calling doesn't work as well because of that, right? When people get to know you, they just want to know you. They don't want to meet with you. And they have to go through indoctrination where they are convincing themselves that they should meet with you. And cold calling generally skips the process number 2. Same with door knocking, right? So when you have done those traditional methods, then you have seen this. Now, when you go to networking meetings, they have a different problem. Well, you can pre-frame yourself, and then a lot of time, a lot of advisors get caught up into this indoctrination phase. And I've been a victim of this as well. And this is a big one. So if you go back and think about a prospect that have still not become a client, but you have been working with the prospect for, let's say, months or years, where you've been following up, you might be taking them out for lunch, dinner, drinks, or anything like that, which I have done, which is horrible to do. Now what you're doing is essentially you're indoctrinating them way too much, right? And they're not going to convert, because the old school indoctrination of networking meetings and going out for dinners and drinks and games and all that, which I have done, all of that, it's an abuse. And a lot of people get caught into that and they don't get out of that. And that really allows them to not get clients. And I still hear a lot of advisors doing this, right? They have this dinner meetings and they have this and that, and they are driving and going and meeting this prospect, thinking this prospect will give them $1 million at some point. The reality is, if the guy wants or gal wants to give you the money, they would. So you want to indoctrinate, but you want to also move to the next steps. And some of the old methods are more leaning towards one or the other, and they don't work. Now, when it comes to marketing, which we are talking in this particular module, as you will see, we can automate a lot of our marketing, which is good, which means we can automate pre-frame and indoctrination. And that's why I would continue to challenge you to think about, adding value to your prospects without meeting them in person, right? Unless you are meeting them for a deal and qualified prospects and all that, and that's fine. But avoid meeting people before, they have committed to be interested in moving their money with you, right? Like today with technology, everything is available for you and the prospects to do without meeting in person, to make sure that you are a fit. And I'll keep on stressing on the point, because I know it's a mental roadblock for most advisors. So we can automate marketing, pre-frame, and indoctrination, which is really God's gift, to be honest, because it takes a lot out of your sales process. Now your sales process is going to be mainly manual, because you meet with people on a phone or in person to take them through your closing process and sales process, and that's fine. You have to do that, and that's part of your practice. And you must do both. Okay, this is not an option. You can't choose just marketing or sales. You have to do both of them in the right sequence. And the process, the acquisition model that I'm giving you in this training program takes you through that properly. So if you follow what I'm giving you, we are going to do both. And that will allow you to make sure that you get clients. So that allows us now to pick what form of channels we want to use. So we don't want to do all the traditional methods. We don't want to get into all the social media complexity, get confused. Our focus is going to be on two things: LinkedIn and Facebook. These are two channels that are the best channels. Of all the other social media tools, there's a lot of experimentation going on. We don't even know if those platforms will exist next year and all. So you want to stay out of it. For example, Twitter used to be huge a few years back, but Twitter's inability to help businesses get clients, it's not the platform. Google used to be the king when it came to online, client acquisition. It's no more that. It's Facebook, and LinkedIn is doing quite well as well. So these platforms are coming and going. And what I can tell you right now is that LinkedIn and Facebook have proven themselves in the last 4 or 5 years to be a very strong platforms. And I foresee them to be good for another 5-10 years. And we must be able to take all the advantage of the strength and the investment and the power of these two platforms. And we're going to use these two platforms to get clients. Now, the good thing with this approach, the approach I'm giving you in this program, because we are very fundamental in our client acquisition approach, we are going to use Facebook and LinkedIn as a mere channel to get people. So for some odd reason, if they disappear in the next 4 years, for example, our approach in this training program is still going to be extremely valuable, because you will be able to bring people from new channels, because there will be new channels that will replace this platform. And we can use those channels to get prospects and put them back into our funnel and our process to convert them to client. So even though I use Facebook and LinkedIn into our training program, but they are channels. Don't confuse channels as the main process to convert into client. Okay. So we are going to focus on these two platforms, and we are going to become really deep in how we use them, how we measure and monitor this platform, what kind of metrics and data we collect on the platforms. And for marketing, we are going to use LinkedIn, Facebook, emails, and funnels. And for sales, we are going to use our first call, which is where we qualify them. And then we have a meetings with people. And then we do follow-ups, which are calls, emails, and texts. Kind of what you do today, but what you will be able to do after this training program is you are going to get very efficient in how you run your sales. And you will be able to put the right marketing in front that you never had. So that is what we are going to focus on when it comes to our marketing.